Thank you. So thank you, Hemant. Thank you very much for giving insight to your experiences and the suggestions uh, what you gave, that the universities must probably involve in showing certain area and then bring the profit. There is a disagreement from some of the farmers also regarding the part on subsidy. So I will not touch right now the part on subsidy, because most of the poly houses were given subsidy almost 75, 80%, especially in UP, some parts 80%, hilly areas. So it is actually, let us come to understand first why poly houses fail. That is more important probably for us, rather than going ahead and asking government to do this. So why this? What is in poly houses? The whole technology what we are talking about is not a missile technology probably, but I think why it failed. What we missed the point. Somebody has missed the point. We all have missed the point, because what you told, Hamad, I agree with you that people are not successful. I know few hundred polyhouses ready available near, for example, Hyderabad. They're already immediately to be taken out. People are farmers are not using the polyhouses, many of them. And I know the problems. We know from the media that polyhouses problem in Kerala, where the humidity problems, where it is there. And we also know some success stories from Himachal. So this is diverse actually, but the percentage of utilization I could find out is much less to the, so people are not going for it. Another point I found is people are going only for a certain type of crops only. People have not tried the crops much. And in the previous discussion we had also, Dr. Brahma Singh was asked question, what is the cost of a vertical farming to make? How many layers? Even he told we don't have exact technical details. And I also tried to find out. Well, I know today only you have told the approximate cost probably come for the vertical farming. There were some concerns from the some of the farmers on how the lighting will work in the vertical farming, especially multi-layer. So that we also have discussed about it with Dr. Atul Mohod. He's doing some tests, and we know Dr. Pitam Chandra has done already work on the lighting. So right now, with this small thing, we'll come to see. Just give me. Okay. I will just give an introduction and go ahead. I'll tell you the second one. You see, I am not a guy who worked in poly houses. All that I have done during my, can you please, all of you, can you please mute your mics, please, if you can, please. Uh, so I have not worked on poly houses, but all I remember is my bachelor time. I have written a report, term report on um, hydroponics from Israel. And 1973, 74, you cannot write it easily. I have to spend my time in the universities and do. But in the due course, I know about complete how the agriculture growth, what plants, whatever it is. So I see it. I think still somebody's okay. Now, what a plant requires, I'll tell you simple. What I understand as a layman, and correct me afterwards, the expert. Plant requires water and fertilizer. Of course, it requires seeds, everything. I'm talking about what is the issues of water and fertilizer. It requires, of course, sunlight. And we know whether it's 8% sunlight or 18% sunlight, we already discussed. That's not a problem. We require enough sunlight, and we require pollination. Pollination you require. Then you have to take care of the weeds also in case of whatever grow outside. If you're growing pests and diseases, you take care of it. Then you need a suitable environment for each type of crop. You cannot grow a crop or the way you grow in cold climate or hilly climate in the same place. This we all know. Then what are the weather conditions again? You don't want rains to damage a crop, everything. For that only the protection comes. In protection means I can see only certain parts of protection. When compared to the left side, right side, what is required? That we require enclosure. Okay, we put an enclosure to avoid the weather conditions, whatever adverse weather conditions to come. We also put enclosure to allow only sufficient light and block the light more. And if light is not there, open it, for example. Optimum temperature to be maintained, because that's another problem. Certain crops, when you want to grow, the temperature must be, then it optimally grows and grows faster. The reason people go for protective cultivation is they can grow more with less area and probably less cost. Right now, we are talking about the capital cost, capital investment cost. It's only the structure. Structure 80% is paid already. Let's assume that paid most of the structures, existing structures I'm talking. Pipes are good, everybody told. The only sheet, whatever. The main important thing is the humidity. The humidity, I think we recall long back, I recall again, Delhi, they use air coolers. They don't use much of air conditioners. So something called a heat index we call in all, even agriculture everywhere. So that is a combined with humidity, the exactly scorching effect the plant gets. So you have to control the humidity. That is the problem. Probably most of the places in the coastal areas and south where you have high humidity, you have the problem. Pollination is the issue because everything is closed. You will not get pollination. There are many other methods are there. Fertigation systems again an issue, but that's not a major issue to come. So with this small, what I understand as this one, I will come back to the next part of it. I want to, one of the farmer, I asked him to write down the problems what he had or what he faced in 5 years of, still he's doing the polyhouse plantation, Mr. Ramachandran. He's written down, and I gave it to expert, posted to expert. One of the expert, Dr. Pitam Chandra, actually has replied for that. So he has replied, detail he has given. I'll just go short to understand what a problem he faced. Because generic problems, everybody says this problem, that problem. He has given point to point. So it'll be easier for all of us to understand what point the farmer has given point, and he is an educated farmer, agriculture engineer. So he knows stuff. He says first temperature. So Dr. Pitam Chandra is not there today. He's traveling. So he told me to show this to all of you as his comments to come. So now the crop, he says the temperature is different for different crop. That is the reply which is given by him. Second one is the question from the farmer is this NHB or whatever may be. There is no one single design for construction polyhouse, steel structure, but he talks about the sheets are not properly okay because of, depending on the weather condition. So for that, the reply from Dr. Pitam Chandra is the steel structure is strong enough. If you build with again, heavy winds is a problem. He says you should not have any openings. Windows or openings when the storm or something happens, then only the problem comes. Otherwise, the steel structure are okay. Now, his question, the farmer's question is, most of them use ginger plastic seal thickness, but the question is the sun intensity, because normally you also know inside the car dashboard, you will have very hot if you keep it close in sunlight. So same it happened polyhouses. So then he want to reduce the polyhouse because polyhouse 40 degrees, he got the temperature. So some sheets he has used. The farmer has used some sheets. And then the problem is he reduces temperature, but the plant didn't grow properly. So he wanted to know what is the reason. It's a very valid question as I see it as a farmer. Reply given by expert is, it depends on the film what you use to reduce the sunlight. So he tried to tell that 20 degrees more, you will have you can use the temperature inside the polyhouse. So he says better way is to give openings. So you can have a cover which you can open and the top opening go away. I still recall in my childhood time, I used to go to the glass house, the old glass house in Nilgiris. So they had all windows, top also windows. They had flowers, I think the old British style. So they had the ventilation. They solved the problem of humidity is very less in hill areas. They manage the problem of the more air circulation also. So the interesting what comes about air circulation, I think next one it comes. Second thing is, he says about every 2 minutes the air must be circulated, something. That is what I read somewhere. Next problem which the farmer face is the foggers to increase the humidity. I have seen this with Dr. Narendra Shah in IIT about 10 years back. They have got a greenhouse. So I went to see how they control with the fogger. And you need fans. When you get a fogger, you have to circulate. You have to send the moist moist air out. When you keep the moist air inside, when it's heated up, the heat index increases. So, for example, if it's 24 degrees and 90 degrees humidity or 80 degrees humidity, you'll feel like 40 degrees inside. The plant feels like 40 degrees. So, I think that is one of the things he faced the problem of the foggers. Second is the water to be used in the foggers. They must be clean. So, which is a problem, is another problem. Actually, in all type of different automated systems, they use clean water, filtered water, everything. Next question is also fogger maintenance is the problem he's facing. Fogger maintenance, the tips to be cleaned and 8 to 10 feet high. So I need a skilled labor to be used for it. So is there any solution for this cleaning? I don't know. I saw in IIT Mumbai, they use pulling type of fogger nozzles. So you can pull it, it comes down, then it goes up again and rests. Probably, I don't know. That could be one of the solutions, I see. Water quality, the reply from the expert is water quality is very important for the foggers. It's a serious issue. So on TDS, dissolvable solids, as well as the pH. pH sensor now available very easily, very cheap rate, 1,000 rupees, 1,200 rupees, you get a pH sensor, electronic pH sensor, just for information. So pH sensor. Next one is the pollination issue. So he's telling today, he says the polyhouse owners cultivate. The farmer says cucumber, capsicum, tomato, whatever flower, where there is no pollination not required. He says, what about self-pollination varieties? He again talks about they have to shake the plants. So the idea, the suggestion given by the expert is greenhouse environment is no pollination. He says bumblebee to be used to give alternative bumblebee, or you can have opening whatever it's to do. Another idea is what people told, you can have net house and do it. So again about the pollination, it's a sunrise time is good to have. So these are all the things what he gave. Second one is coming the sheets to be used depending on the climate condition, UV protection, what type of sheet. So this again, I don't think every farmer knows about it. Or yeah, so reply is very good. 150 to 200 microns you have to use, good transparency. Ginger and cipollin films are good. Next method to bring down heat inside the polyhouse, ventilation, foggers, misting, fan, pad system, RH control maintenance is an initial investment. Because I don't know, I asked a lot of people, give me a humidity temperature control system, what is the cost? I didn't get a price till now. Give me for square foot area or give me for that, we don't have the price. If any manufacturer I ask, we have something, we will give you if you contact. But the question is what I'm asking is what is the price? Is it available? How many manufacturers? So then we can decide what is the cost makes high, we can reduce the cost. So I think most of the problem, this is one of the areas to be covered. So we should use, actually, he says there are many strategies in greenhouse temperature maintenance. Instead of inventing something new, trying to find out the one available. Now, sorry. Then he says about another question, it's an interesting question from the farmer. Is a rooftop turbo ventilators, which you see industry area actually, where automatically rotates because of the temperature difference it goes, it cools down automatically the room. It's very good. So whether I can use it or not, and he says very good. Pitam Chandra says very good, you can use it, roof windows. So you should go for it, even openable roof, in case. Because for a short time you open, I don't think there's going to be a problem of other insects coming out so fast, depending on the environment, what you see there. Sorry. Then he says about you want to have a solar panel on the top of it, whether it will work or not. Then the expert Pitam says yes, we are all aware of it for solar panels available, which gives the glazing type, which can pass the light and plus generate this one. After this reply was given to the farmer, he's got additional question. His questions all solved, excepting few points. He says the fogger, temperature cut. That's all his problem right now. And second thing is, we'll come back to the point, which is always the problem of storage, transport, all we have. We'll come back to this. With this, I want to close my analysis of a farmer, typical farmer. And I appreciate this because not because I know him, but I think this is what we want the farmers to represent. So the experts can do it. I think we can have the similar one probably is best. Now, I'll come back to the next important part of the whole today's program. I will start the discussion on pointers one by one point. Let us have the suggestions on structure. These are all the important points I told. I think it's required structure. What type of crops are used? You see, structure also, whether it is nearby coastal area, you want anything, experts can say what to be done, because coastal area has unique problems, and whether you have Nagpur area, it's a different problem, Hyderabad, different problems, and when you go to the northern side, it's a different problem. So people cannot tell, Himachal is working very well, 1,000 hectares or whatever, 100 hectares, why it doesn't work in South India or in Kerala. So that is a problem actually we have to solve. So structure, according to expert, is okay. Then what type of crop is suitable where? Where can be grown? Anybody has really grown is required. And where pollination issues, pest and disease, nematodes already we discussed. I heard somebody is using even liquid ozone for nematode to kill them. Then climate control is one of the things which I think we have to get a price so people can go for climate control. This will solve the problem of most of the areas to use. If affordable climate control, if it's available, we have to expose it today, or we have to, all of us have to look for it. Cost of investment, actually, like one of the topic I want to close with this topic is the subsidy part. We cannot run a business with subsidy all the time. I'm against it, because you see the subsidies of 300 crores sent near Dharamsala, for example, for this particular project. I read in the newspapers. Every state spends 200, 300, thousands of crores spent on polyhouse construction. Because of the people listen, yeah, it should be, you give subsidy, people will use it. But that's not true. Because when your production goes more, automatically farmer will pay for it. Because you don't give a solution, just give him a net and shed. What he is going to do? You think about what type of crop he is going to grow. Are you going to supply them? Are you going to give about other things required for his area? For example, near Hyderabad, it is so hot. If you get for 2 months, 3 months also, he cannot grow the crop. So what is ventilation system? Have you foreseen? No. So this all cost adds to the farmer. Anyway, you're going to pay. And especially when subsidy comes, I always find the cost is more.